A Caucasian man done put me in his business without my permission. So there's this Caucasian man named Brett, right? And he got some Jerry Springer type shit going on with the mother of his child, supposedly. So he done agreed to be this woman turkey baster so this lady can have a baby, right? But Brett didn't want any obligations to the baby. Basically, he was like, you and your turkey based baby can run off into the sunset and I'm gonna go live my life. But I guess Brett had to change her heart and he decided to be in the child's life. But the baby mama had a personality switch because she just started acting crazy. So meanwhile, Brett is like, how the hell did I get myself into this shit? This woman is bat crazy. A long story short, Brett ended up giving this lady $10,000 for child support and was paying her $750 per month for this child. Now the plot twist is supposedly the baby ain't even his. So you done turkey based this baby, gave this woman 10 grand and $750 a month, and this baby not even yours. Since Brett done got me all up in his business, I went to go look on his page, and he ain't post nothing in 3 days. And 3 days is a lot of time to be crashing out. So I'm gonna need for somebody to go check on that Caucasian man and see if he's okay.
So you just know this one wasn't over. Our guy Brett Fairley, the one who was unfairly given a child from an older woman, aired himself out on TikTok. The story went viral, went crazy. There was all types of intrigue. There was drama. But the funniest thing is now is a little pushback. His baby mama seems to have a different retelling of this story, and most of this is coming courtesy of her cousin who's made public that Brett has not told the entire story. Let's get into it.
The wildest part about this story to me is not the title, even though it's insane. It's not the plot twist that this so-called older woman knew that he wasn't the father, led him on for years, blasting him on social media, making him pay child support, even with an airtight document prior to becoming pregnant. No. The most shocking thing to me is that his girlfriend is Nurse Hadley. And because his girlfriend's nurse...
That's a whole new thing. Brett's girlfriend's already a little TikTok famous, a little internet famous. She's a best-selling author. And he mentioned that before. People said he should write a book. And he said, I already know a best-selling author.
Nurse Hadley, I immediately trust everything that he says. Being with someone like her gives him all the credibility. Because that woman right there is an actual angel. Her best-selling book, The In-Between, it is the first book I read willingly on my own outside of high school in 10 years. The work that she does as a hospice nurse and explaining death and dying, normalizing it, since it is the most normal part of life, is amazing. And I love that they're together. Anyway.
This is the woman that his child's mother, if we could call it that, since he did a DNA test and says that it's not his child. This is the woman that she confronted in the Lowe's. If you remember correctly, there was a altercation in the Lowe's where she had to come get her baby because he was with his girlfriend. This is an entire mess.
You should write a book. I might know a best-selling author.
Girl, the contractor's cute. Does he come with the house? He does.
They're putting out little cute videos. But Brett actually did a post and delete. He actually put up a video of the young lady in question because so many people were wondering who Maria Nguyen was.
Before you all start believing his shit, there's just a few things that I want you to take into consideration. First, the collection date was August 10th, 2024. Well, I had my daughter on August 10th, 2024.
He's actually put the video up. This is from August 10th. Oh, wow. It looks like he's made it public again.
Before you all start believing.
Interesting. Just in case you all don't remember this story, I'll give you a little refresher. Give you a couple seconds.
This is the story of me agreeing to get an older woman pregnant and then her trying to ruin my life. When I was 23, I had a one-night stand with a girl from my hometown named Maria. We both knew it was nothing more than that, and we didn't speak after. I recently found out that our daughter isn't mine. I don't know who the dad is, but I've had 2 paternity tests done, and they both say this.
Wow.
I believed Maria when she told me that I was the only possible father. The situation was weird, but I was always happy to be a dad. I knew that Maria already knew she was pregnant. She had to have, when she asked me to get her pregnant. I didn't think that was something that someone would lie about to another human being. Not only to me, but my entire family as well.
You could see how that would actually infuriate some people that were under the assumption they now had a grandchild. So it's not just impacting Brett, Maria's story, But the TikTok detectives have been out, and of course they're doing their research. They're digging into this story, and they're trying to find out the truth. And of course, they've got their own theories on what is happening here.
Hey, Brett Fairley, where'd your video go? All that proof you said you were gonna post? I didn't think so. Probably the best decision you've made in this situation yet. Don't believe everything you see on the internet.
Okay, guys, this story is ripping up TikTok right now. This is Brett, and he tells this story about how he agreed to get an older woman pregnant, and she tried to ruin his life. And it gets 15.4 million views. So let's get into it. Roll it.
In the TikTok justice system, bipolar-based offenses are considered good tea. In the city of Minneapolis, a dedicated detective who investigates these crash outs is a member of an elite squad known as the Dead Gang Unit. So get your tea and get your snacks, cause you already know. This is about to be good.
Maria's family's coming out with receipts on this whole situation between Maria and Brett. I can admit when I'm wrong. You know, that is exactly what I get for immediately taking the side of a white man. That is exactly what I get. I deserve this.
For everyone keeping up with Brett and Maria and all the drama that surrounds that, I have a genuine question. This was posted on September 12th on Hadley's private Instagram story. I'm curious what you think about that. This is, reminder, his daughter, or who he thought his daughter, or however it may play out. This was her, or is her, middle name. He got it tattooed in honor of her, got his daughter, who he thought was his daughter's middle name, tattooed on his arm, and a month ago, he had a line drawn through it. And then Hadley said, if you know, you know, the most insane story time coming soon. This was on September 12th, a whole month ago. I'm just curious what you think about that, genuinely.
This is just a PSA about the Brett and Maria drama that's going on right now. Maria does not have a TikTok. So for all of the people doing this, apparently people are attacking someone who is not the real Maria. That happens a lot. It's unfortunate. It's part of the backlash of someone coming on to TikTok, especially, and telling their story time. But the things that people are saying to the wrong Maria, in attempt to say it to the correct Maria even, are absolutely wild. And you guys need to chill the f*** out. Like, the people on the internet are so weird. Y'all are weird for saying this kind of stuff.
Okie dokie. The Brett, Maria, and Nurse Hadley update. It sucks because Brett removed all those videos. Maybe he was advised by a lawyer. Maybe it's not true and he was just venting. I don't know. But we wanted receipts. We wanted the ironclad agreement receipts. We wanted the DNA test receipts. We wanted Maria to respond too. So, oh well. On to the next juicy chisme.
It is so bad, I want to give you a 0, but that's not possible. So I give you a 1.
Okay, so I'm going to address some of the comments that were made on this video I made yesterday. Number 1, before I even spoke to anyone in Maria's family, I already thought it was weird how he spoke about having an ironclad agreement to basically be a donor. Every part of his video is about him being self-righteous and being a victim. I had a one-night stand with her. She was an old woman whose maternal clock was ticking. So I agreed to save the day and give her a baby. I'm sorry, but that part makes me laugh. And mind you, she was like 28 or 29 years old. How I genuinely feel, and y'all are not gonna change it, is he wanted to downplay who she was in his life. She was just a one-night stand, and then months later she randomly came up to me and asked me to be a donor. And he really tries to highlight, if you guys pay attention, that she meant nothing when they had a one-night stand. The creation of the baby meant nothing. It was transactional. He was supposed to be just a donor. Then, after the baby came, all he wanted to be was a father. He highlights many times throughout the video how he had no emotional connection whatsoever to her, and she's kind of cuckoo. And I'm not saying that the paternity test isn't true, but I also think that it should be done in court so nobody can make the argument that it was tampered with. Be for real. Like in your real life, if one of your cousins or your friends had a DNA test that was administered by their baby daddy's new girlfriend who they don't get along with, how many of y'all would believe that the test is accurate? So I don't blame her family for going
She is a nurse.
hard behind her. And if he isn't the father, he has every right to be mad, I agree, but I'm not buying this ironclad donor agreement. You mean to tell me a man who was owning real estate by 23 years old got into an ironclad donor agreement without any proof whatsoever? Her family is saying from the time they started...
No, the thing is, he just doesn't have to prove it to you. That's the thing. The fact that he even opened it up for conversation is a whole nother thing. Yeah, why is it such a big issue? Why are they trying to disprove him? It seems like there's a lot of activity going on trying to disprove him just because.
So Nurse Hadley actually commented on my first video. She said she was suspicious if the child was actually his. So she convinced him to take a DNA test. And she also did say that it was an at-home DNA test. And they gave the little girl the DNA test on August 10th. And on his TikTok, you see on August 10th that her children and his, well, not child, or whatever the child is to him now, were playing together. So she admitted that she was the one who first had suspicions the child's not his. She admitted that she was the one who convinced him to do an at-home DNA test. And they administered the test on August 10th. Now, I'm not saying that she did anything to the test results, but I am saying I can understand why the family is being defensive, especially considering that the new girlfriend convinced him to do an at-home DNA test in which they administered it at home. And while at-home DNA tests are accurate, they are easy to tamper with. And I'm not saying she tampered with it. I'm just saying I understand why they would be like, no, this isn't acceptable proof. And Nurse Hadley did say that they are going to do a court-appointed DNA test, so I'm waiting on those results.
So basically, nobody wants to believe Brett because him and his girlfriend, a nurse known on TikTok, is the one that administered the test, the at-home test, and had a suspicion. They think she's plotting somewhere. Why do people think anybody would play with that type of thing? I know Brett, there's been some people that were questioning Brett's truthfulness. I don't see any reason he has to lie about this. Either it's his kid and he has to pay child support on it, or it's not. I don't care how mad Maria's family is. It just makes Maria look crazy because pulled this plot on this unassuming guy, which I guess is Brett's point anyway in the first place.
As I already stated, I don't believe the donor story. I don't believe that she was ever a one-night stand who just hit him up months later and was like, hey, my clock is ticking and I want a baby. Can you give me a baby? According to people who are actually close with her, they hung out for months. There was no lapse where they were not hanging out.
Well, even if they hung out for months, it doesn't mean that they didn't have this agreement. It also doesn't mean that they had a relationship, or that he wasn't trying to build a relationship after he knew things were going ahead with the pregnancy. You see what I'm saying? It's like they want to not believe Brett for whatever reason. I don't care either way. I just want the truth.
And on top of the video of them on a boat, him celebrating her birthday with her, here's a picture of them in a jacuzzi in April of 2021. So for them to be in a jacuzzi together, for him to be at her birthday, for them to be chilling on boats together, I don't buy the donor story. Now, Maria did just put out a statement on her Instagram, and basically she says, thank you to all our friends and family who have reached out with your supporting calls and text messages. We love you guys, and I cannot speak on much yet. Social media is powerful. People are vile and there are always two sides to every story. My daughter didn't deserve this kind of exposure. Obviously, once the court situation...
Well, in this case, there's always three sides to every story. His side, her side, and the truth, which falls in the middle somewhere. She better hope that paternity can be determined because that's the only way she gets out of this. In my mind, there's not even a question about whether or not they had a relationship or not, or whether or not they hung out together. Is this his baby? Because that's a waste of his time and money. And it's something that we've been talking about for a long time, a system that needs to change, right? This paternity situation. So all the women, I know you all are emotional about this and you want to say, oh, we got to stand up for this girl because Nurse Hadley is setting them up. But For whatever reason, everybody seems to love Nurse Hadley until just now. They love their books, they're fans of her. But for whatever reason, they can't let a girl go out like this. And unfortunately, it's not uncommon. This is how things happen. So
deserve this kind of exposure. Obviously, once the court situation happens, we'll know more. And I probably wouldn't have even picked at this story. But as soon as I heard him say donor, I did not believe that portion of the story. As I already stated, I don't believe the donor story. I don't believe that she was ever.
But anyway, let me know what you think about it in the comments. This is a mess. Biloxi. This is what's going on in Biloxi. You know, like I said, there's 3 sides to every story, of course. But Brett seemed to have a compelling story. It went viral first, so he's got the advantage right now. It seemed pretty believable on how he was saying it. And like I said, I don't think the family has proven anything by proving that they had a relationship outside of the fact. If it's not his child, that's the most important thing. Why you got this man paying for a child that isn't his? That's where we need to keep it. That's where it needs to live. That's where it needs to be. End of discussion.